Undercover Billionaire found insane amount of money while dumpster diving. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where we find out hilarious things that people do in their lives, like making money in unexpected ways. Hey, stop thinking about what ways we might be talking about here, because what you'll find out in this video will amaze you highly. Here we find Glenn Stearns, a two-time cancer survivor, sold Stearns Lending before leaving with his family on a multi-year vacation. Glenn appeared in the Discovery Channel reality series Undercover Billionaire after his return. Glenn was given the task of building a $1 million company in 90 days using only $100, an old pickup truck, and a mobile phone. This effort resulted in the development of the Underdog Barbecue restaurant in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is still operating today. Enough about this introduction. Let's quickly jump into the insight into Glenn's activity to find out what's going on in his head. This guy is sitting in the car and is focused to earn $3,300 in a week so that he can cover his living expenses for the next 3 months. When Glenn starts this journey, he clearly emphasizes the fact that every minute that he focuses on survival, he is not focusing on the business. As he begins the quest, as a businessman's soul, he advises one to focus on their strengths and weaknesses. Following this, he makes us familiar with the fact that people perform hourly jobs in Erie. People in this city are more focused on manufacturing jobs which require a high skill set, which he clearly lacks. He explores the city and finds many abandoned buildings and material that was usable. But Glenn is a good salesman and has been one his whole life. And he decides that if he has to make some money, he will have to get out of his comfort zone, so he starts operating from a salesman's mind. He looks around, and instead of those abandoned buildings and stuff that people throw around that they consider garbage, it looks like potential, sellable stuff to him. After exploring the evident part of the city, Glenn went to that part of the city where all the abandoned stuff was kept. It was all waste for other people, but Glenn had a plan. He was positive to find something worth selling, so he wanted to flip some of these materials for hopefully a lot of money. Normally, someone would have looked into the market to find out which product was in demand at that particular time, and then would have invested his time in collecting that product from the dump. But Glenn has completely different principles when it comes to doing business. He started looking for a buyer. It's one of the principles of his life to find the buyer first, and the rest will fall in place. Some of you might object to this approach, but let's find out if this approach led Glenn somewhere or not. In search of a buyer, he reaches a place online where people were looking for wrought iron fencing and military-grade tires. There, he found some people ready to buy all these things and pay $400 to $500 for the product. Sounds amazing, right? Glenn shares his reversible approach toward business, in which he tells that without knowing your buyer when you create a product, it's a huge gamble. You don't know who will buy it. If the product contains what your buyer wants, it's all in the darkness. But Glenn has found a buyer. He just has to find huge military-grade tires. But finding such tires in such a huge dump is easier said than done. Glenn begins with a search for sellable tires in that place. But the dump actually turned out to be a proper dump. He found a place where a lot of tires were piled, but none of them were usable. So what is he going to do now? The man is at work now, and his business-trained brain is looking for options. He looks around, and he's well aware of the habit of people in this city to dump their garbage in the abandoned buildings so they don't have to pay anything for the dump. Well, smart move, but their smart move is going to help Glenn big time. During his search, he points out an old freight line that runs through the center of that town. The line has closed buildings on both sides of it, and something is going on in Glenn's mind about it. Actually, Glenn is talking about what was created in the older times, because these buildings were manufacturing units at a point. They used to load directly onto the freight train. Glenn knows this town well, and he has a plan. He has decided to start at one end of the city, and he will work his way across following these ancient tracks. Interesting approach, but a little dicey as well. Let's find out how he's going to do it. Here he is, at his first location, and oh my goodness. It's like the tires came from above. Tires of different sizes are scattered here and there, But Glenn needs a particular tire, for which he is looking deep into the collection. And bravo! He found a tire and one more, and all of them were different sizes. I guess he is the first person to get this excited about finding a bunch of tires. Now that he has found the product that is in demand, he is going to take another step. And what is it? Getting in touch with the buyer. Without even wasting a minute, Glenn contacts Cody stating that he saw his ad where he mentioned his search for tires, and he has a few tires that might be helpful for him. Cody sounds positive on the other side. He is eager to buy the tires, and Glenn is excited to sell some. So both of them fix a time and decide on a place to meet, where begins the real phase of this experiment. With 4 different tires in his car, Glenn reaches the decided location and waits for his first client. Cody arrives a few minutes later, and both of them get to business straight away. Cody starts looking at the tires and rejects a couple of them for their poor condition and overusage, where it was quite evident that Glenn knew nothing about tires, and he is probably not even understanding what Cody explained about the tires. He was just focused on the point if he will be able to make the deal or not. After the rejection of 2 small tires, Glenn was a little skeptical about this thing, but Cody made it happen. He liked the rest of the 2 big tires. Though they had cuts on them, they were usable. So Cody showed interest in those tires, so he asked Glenn to make him a quote for them. Glenn had done his research, and he knew that Cody was up to pay around $1,800 from the advertisement, so he quotes the maximum amount he knows, that is the $1,800. But Cody brought Glenn's attention towards tires in the rugged condition. He found $1,800 to be an unreasonable amount. They started bargaining at that point, and Cody quoted $1,400 in return. Glenn might have been more than happy to take this much amount, but his salesman mind didn't allow him to give up there. So he offered $1,600, and Cody in return offered $1,500. Glenn thinks about it for a second and finalizes the deal then and there. Oh wow! A person who might have thrown these tires to the city dump thinks it's all a waste and will never be used again. Glenn proved him wrong by selling the tires to a person for $1,500. Remarkable! And hey, the deal is done in cash, and all the ballots was cleared in 1 hour. Glenn started in the morning from $3,300, and he has already made $1,500 by selling what? Dumped tires. Isn't it amazing what Glenn did here? What do you think about this amazing approach to making money? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching the video, make sure you don't forget to like and share it to your money-mongering friends. For more such content, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you soon in the next video.